Hi Ash members, welcome back to your Healthy Foundations Habits. Today we're going to talk about our second anchor habit, and that is to eat to 80% fullness. To be blunt, to lose weight you have to eat less, period. But to do that is sometimes simple to understand or hard to implement. With 80% fullness, what we're going to give you is the ability to intuitively understand and control your appetite. Again, very easy to understand, sometimes harder to implement.
So eating to 80% fullness comes down to two things. First of all, how much do you eat? And then secondly, how do you feel when you eat that much? You're going to learn, first of all, which portion sizes are going to work for you. And then secondly, what it physically feels like to be full, to be satisfied, and then to be hungry. So there's going to be two different levels. First of all, just try the habit, see what you notice. Do you notice that you're able to stop at 80% full, or is it more challenging for you? And then secondly, you want to work on the consistency and the quality of your execution. So how closely can you pinpoint how full you are, and then how consistent can you be with this habit? So in the beginning, as you learn what 80% feels like for you, go slow. Take a bite, stop, take a breath, pause and notice how you feel. If it feels like a good idea to take another bite, go ahead and take another bite. Rinse and repeat. When you get to about 80% fullness, go ahead and stop. That's it. So the whole point is to stop eating a little bit sooner than you normally would.
You probably already have an idea of how much you eat, what you order at a restaurant, what size plates you use, or what size coffee you order. So all we're asking you to do is start with what you would normally eat and then either stop a little sooner or shrink that portion size. For instance, you can use a smaller plate, you can order the sides below what you would normally order, or you can just leave a couple bites on the plate itself. By stopping at 80% full, you're gonna have more energy and the ability to do the things that you wanna do. As opposed to most people eat themselves into a food coma, they're overstuffed, and then they don't wanna do anything. This is gonna give you the ability to do the things that you actually want to do. Now, the second part to eating to 80% fullness is, what does hunger feel like? We all have a pretty good idea of what stuffed feels like. That after a holiday, I've eaten way too much food, I'm in a food coma, and I have to loosen my belt a little bit. Let's call that 150% fullness, way over capacity. And we all have a pretty good idea of what really hungry looks like. We haven't eaten in a long time, we're starving and we're freaking out. Now, eating to 80% fullness is gonna be in between those two. It's gonna be when I'm just satisfied. It's gonna be the amount of food that I've eaten that tells my body this is just right. And remember, at the end of the day, losing weight is about eating less. Eating to 80% fullness is gonna tell your body, I've eaten just the right amount of food.
Try planning a brisk walk or a workout for after you eat. If you have to take on your kid in some one-on-one basketball in the driveway, or bring your friend or your daughter to a yoga class, it's much more likely that you're gonna use a smaller portion size. All right, members, so now we're gonna talk about exercise and movement. Within your body, everything affects everything else. So with regards to your skeleton and the position it's in, that's going to affect your muscles. The better that your form and technique, the better that your function is going to be. And the better the function, the better the results. So we're not gonna ask you just to move more, we're also gonna ask you to move better and more effectively. First of all, Coach Derek is going to perform a squat without any kind of tempo at all. This is what you're gonna see in most of your chain gyms, Globo gyms, people just kind of doing squats or any type of movement without any kind of rhyme or reason to it. You can see he's coming down without any really structured tempo. His heels are elevating a little bit. So what we're gonna do is tailor this a little bit for Coach Derek and have him put his heels up on the 10-pound plate here. It's gonna come down with 3 seconds tempo on the way down. Having the heels elevate is gonna make sure that they don't come up during the movement. And this is a very precise and high quality movement for Coach Derek. 3, 2, 1, and up. So just by adding in some level of tempo, and you can experiment and play with different tempos, it's gonna bring the quality of your program up to the next degree.
Okay members, now we're gonna talk about progressions and regressions. And now that just simply means we're gonna use a same or similar exercise and we're gonna make it either easier or harder depending on whatever our goal is. So what you're gonna see me do here is a couple of different squatting movements, which we've talked about is a prime pattern. And what we're gonna do is make them easiest and then go to hardest. Now we're gonna take a look at a couple different variations or progressions and regressions of a squat pattern. The first one is gonna be an assisted squat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit down and use the straps for whatever assistance that I need, and I'm gonna focus on quality movement here, and if I need to, I'm gonna pull with my hands. And then from there, I'm gonna let go of the straps completely. I'm gonna have nice quality movement. I'm gonna very intentionally focus on coming down to the bench and back up, and I'm still sitting to the bench now and taking a little bit of the weight off. Once I can do that, I can go to the bench and just lightly tap it and come right back up. So once I've gotten to the point where sitting to a box or a chair is no longer appropriately challenging, I can go to just body weight squats, where I'm simply focusing on really quality movement all the way down, all the way back up. Then once that's a little too easy, we're gonna start to add some weights. The easiest thing to do is simply hold a dumbbell right underneath your chin, back nice and tight, nice and controlled, all the way down, all the way back up. Focus on quality movement here. Now, once one dumbbell isn't challenging enough, I can go to 2 dumbbells or a little bit heavier weights here, and then focus on really quality movement. And the next progression is gonna be to a barbell. Now, barbells are great because you can add tons and tons of weight on them to make it appropriately challenging for whatever your goals are. So let's look at some barbell back squats and then some barbell front squats. So we're gonna treat every barbell like it has 1,000,000 pounds on it. Step under here, take this weight, and then find my foot placement. Take the time to get a nice, good setup for good structure and good posture, and then nice, controlled, quality movement all the way down, all the way back up. Focusing on really quality movement here, finding the bottom, coming back up. And that's a barbell back squat. And then we're gonna switch to a barbell front squat. So again, nice, pretend like the weight has 1,000,000 pounds on it, find our foot placement, good setup, and then nice controlled movement all the way down and all the way back up. So remember, members, that consistent daily action is what leads to change. What we're asking you to do now is make time, be mindful, and eat to 80% fullness.
Thank you for checking out our foundational health habit brought to you by Alliance for Shared Health. We are very confident that you incorporate these habits into your daily routine. You will be a healthier and happier version of yourself.